Hey everybody, Davey here. Just before we get into the podcast, I just want to let you know that the sound for this episode is a little wonky, as this was the first episode. So just to let you know, there might be a little more room sound than usual. All right, hope you enjoy the podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mr. Davey Squires.
Well, welcome to the inaugural episode of Squires Station. I'm your host, Davey Squires, here in beautiful Cuyahoga Falls. This episode is brought to you by Area 67 Studios, and that is where we're at right now. Thank you for joining us here. And today, on the inaugural episode, we have special guest Clyde Hensley. How are you doing, Clyde?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you, Davey?
I'm as swell as a stub toe.
Ow. Ow. You look nice. You're all spiffed up.
Yeah, I really went all out for this. And I think for each episode, I'm going to wear something real. I'm not going to be too uptight. I'm just going to be, casually handsome. Is that...
You wear it well.
Is that, what do you think about the new haircut here?
I noticed that. I like it. When I walked in, I was like, Davey, are you going to night court? What's going on? This is the new day?
I'm joining the Marines. Yeah, I dyed my hair too, and this whole pandemic has kind of reshaped my look.
My mom had played piano in church, and we always had piano, but I always had access to records like Cole Porter or Waylon Jennings before he had the beard and the real I call it hillbilly country, and I had all that, and then I remember listening to, I think it's Don Kirshner's rock concert, and I saw Kiss on there, and that was like a fulcrum point right there. It was like, well, I really like that guitar, and I didn't know it was a Les Paul, but I knew it was loud, and I knew people like a rock band, so I'm thinking, okay, this is kind of cool. So then my parents got me an acoustic guitar with the strings. You could shoot an arrow with it. It was so high off the neck.
Yeah.
And,
like a classical guitar?
No, it was originally, I believe, a Norma was what it was called.
Okay.
And it had the bent tuning key, and we couldn't afford to have it switched over left-handed because I'm a lefty, so I learned everything right-handed. Music just stuck with me, and I went through high school doing poetry, music, things like that. I guess back then we were called burnouts, even though I didn't do any of that type of stuff. I drank Little King's Cream Ale, and I thought I was cool. But even then, around 16, I got a Camaro. I had worked a job washing dishes at a Chinese restaurant, and I got a Camaro, this brown Camaro, and it's all rusted out. And,
what year?
It was like a 74.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was one of the long.
Now you're real cool.
Oh yeah, I had the mullet. I had the full mustache already, so I kind of had like the bad guy on Miami Vice look going on.
Okay.
So
Get a visual here.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. There's one. Oh yeah. And somehow I was at Woolworth's up at Chapel Hill, and they had the dollar cassettes. And I saw B.B. King, Jim Croce, and Mississippi Muddy Waters live. And I got those three. And at Muddy Waters, I played it till it broke in half. And I still do like Manish Boy, and I do Little Red Rooster and stuff like that. That really turned me on to blues. So some days, the guys that get in the car with me that hang with me, and we'd be listening to Poison or Y&T, and then the next day they get in the car and I'd have on something like Jim Croce, or I'd have Thrills Gone by B.B. King. And
a little different.
Yeah, and they're like, what is this? And I'm like, man, that's music, dude. That's cool stuff. So, Yeah, but then eventually, out of high school, I'd done a semester at Akron U for music theory and performance. And by that time, I had adorned a really cool mullet to go with my mustache, and got into motorcycles a little bit. So I had gotten a Virago that would not start half the time, but it was cool. It had the ape hangers.
Yeah.
And anyways, I started a band called Power Drive, and we were playing the jam nights, Temple Tavern jam nights and all that. And we were a glam rock band, so it was like the big mullet era.
Yeah.
And I'd done that up till about 21, 23, somewhere in there. And I kind of, by that time, I was starting to party pretty heavy, just drinking and partying. And me and a girl decided to have a baby. And I gave it up for a long time, and got back into it. Seriously started to get back into it in 2001. And then by that time, I was so far in the bottle. Long story, even shorter or longer, depending on how you look at it. By 2008, I was completely, alcohol just had me. I could not go over to friends' houses and crash anymore. All my gear had pretty much been sold. So 2009, I was staying out on the street and living at the Haven Rest. Got kicked out of there for fighting. Hooked up with some guys that had Tent City going on, and I thought, well, rent's cheap, and I can do that. So I was that guy at the side of the road there holding a sign saying, we'll work for food, when it should have just said, I'm an alcoholic, I need beer. But long story, even longer. Somebody saved my life. I was passed out on railroad tracks. Train was coming at me. Gentleman pulled me off. He was a pastor from Salvation Army, and he saved my life. Ended up marrying me and my wife. But I got into Salvation Army in 2010 and got back into music. I've been full throttle on the music since.
Yeah.
So
You weren't playing during that span of years?
I would pick up a guitar occasionally. I was trying to write poetry, and usually I thought I was like a cross between Bukowski and Jim Morrison, but by about half a bottle of vodka.
Yeah.
You may as well just take a crayon and scribble on the paper, and it's done, you know.
Yeah.
So, but I was playing a little bit here and there, and it just, I was in no shape to get back in a band, and I always wanted to really get into the acoustic thing and be more of a songwriter. Not that I'm a songwriter, poet, troubadour, whatever they're calling it this
Philosopher.
week. Yeah. I'm nothing of that sort. I just kind of take a chunk of time and write it and put music to it and hope to stir one person, man. That to me, that's what music's about.
Oh, yeah.
It's invoking something in another human being to where they're like, wow, I felt that, or I've been there, or I wish that would have been me, and having a little mini movie going on in their mind when they're listening to that song.
Oh, yeah. Well, as a songwriter, that's kind of the most, I'm not saying like the only thing you can do. That's really the most important part. Like,
By far.
Trying to invoke that feeling and get that feeling across.
Yeah, I remember I saw how my writing had come along when a friend of mine who's a writer was looking at my stuff, and he goes, "You've really trimmed down your lyrics." And I'm like, "How so?" And he goes, "You're not using a lot of ands and thes." He goes, "You're getting to the point, and the point's right there, and it's beautiful, and it's lined up. It's right where it needs to be. You're not throwing words in to make it rhyme. You're holding a nicer melody." I'm like, "I'm doing that? Hold on now."
That's me?
That's me? So yeah, cool stuff.
Yeah, you said that was 2008, 2009 where you started getting back into it?
And that was the time that I was actually homeless. It was 2008, 2009. 2009, I was completely homeless, and there was a little pawn shop down off Market Street. I go in there and I play their guitars. They let me come in for about 15, 20 minutes a day in the morning when I was semi-sober.
Mm-hmm.
I could sit there and play a little bit, and they were cool with it. And then it was when I got into Salvation Army, my sister still had an Ovation Hummingbird that she had bought me years ago. And they were talking to her from Salvation Army and go, what does he like to do? Because he's not talking, he's not interacting with anyone. We're wondering what's going on. Is he that depressed? And she's like, the only thing I know that he likes to do is music. So they're like, well, does he have a guitar somewhere? And she's like, well, I do have one of his guitars here. They asked her to bring it down. Then they got me in the little praise band there. So, you know, it was Sundays, hair pulled back and wearing, and Salvation Army was cool. You know, I dig what they do, but man, you could go in there with like mismatched shoes and socks, but you had to be there on Sunday for church if you're going through their rehab thing. And, it was cool, but that got me back into playing, and that really got me into writing too. Because before I get up in the morning and we had work assignments we do because it's a rehab, I'd get up early and they let me go in and sit in the church area and just play guitar. So I get up at like 5:30, sneak in there and be playing Johnny Be Good and get my chops back together.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Was that what you were playing? Or were you playing the kind of like the standards, like the blues?
Yeah, more blues. Just trying to remember some stuff I was doing. And it was like, I remember it was like the first few songs that I actually remembered were Midnight Hour by Wilson Pickett. I still think I'm doing it in the wrong key, and I still play it to this day.
Just transpose it.
Yeah, you know. And then I'm doing Knocking on Heaven's Door, Learning to Fly. There's a couple Beatle tunes I was chopping up pretty bad, but at the time, you know, it felt good to be playing, so it was like cool. And then, you know, going through scales and stuff like that. And I had Thrill Is Gone, B.B. King, and I was playing that in A minor, and I remember playing that. A couple people heard me and they're like, that's a B.B. King song. And I'm like, yeah. So I knew I was somewhat on the right track with my playing, getting back where I needed to be.
Yeah. So when you started playing on Sundays, did that kind of get you back into that mindset that, hey, this is something that I need to do to keep my sanity intact?
Oh yeah. That was like, that kind of breathed a life into me. That gave me hope, you know, because up till that point, I was okay with not drinking, because I knew what drinking would do for me. I had been there and done that.
Yeah.
But not drinking kind of had me a little bit worried. Was I just going to go do a 9-to-5 or a factory job and come home and watch The Simpsons and have TV dinner and call it a day? Because I hadn't known anything but drinking. So when I was up there playing with the band and stuff, it was like, okay, there's some hope. There's something other than punching a time clock.
Yeah.
So.
It has to be, I mean, that kind of mindset, it's like after going that long without any sort of like time commitment, like a 9-to-5 job, it's kind of like it's really difficult to get in that mindset.
It was beyond challenging, to say the least. And what was really weird was with the music. I didn't know where it was going to go, didn't know where it would take me. I never thought I'd end up being a full-time musician now. So when I went back to say I'm sorry, to one of the people I had screwed over when I was drinking. I had a fairly good job at Harley. And I quit like 4 times, and I'd just like come in one day, I quit.
And then you come back.
Yeah, and I'd come back all tail between the legs. Could you take me back, please? I learned my mistakes.
And then you do it again.
Yeah, and it was like morning drinking in me just did not work out, and it was one of those things where it got to the point where the last time I was at the store, at the Harley store over in Boston Heights, I believe, and I just kind of like walked out. I went to the bar down the road and I sat and tied one on, and they held my job for like 2 months.
Wow.
And they were like, he'll be back. He does this often,
Yeah.
but he's a great parts guy. He knows parts by heart, and he knows what fits what. And I didn't show back up. I ended up being homeless. So yeah, I took it to the extreme. So yeah, but with the music, getting back to the music, yeah, playing in the band really it gave me hope when I was really in a kind of real fluctuating stage. I mean, I'd wake up at night and think, man, what's tomorrow going to be? I was really, really worried. So I found some comfort playing again.
Yeah. So have you been a solo artist since then, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I would make the joke, if I'm off my meds, sometimes I'm a duo, but no. No, I'm a solo. I'm a solo artist. I just like going. I like the sincerity of stuff like when I see Todd Schneider, John Prine videos, and Hayes Carl, and it's just a sincerity in a guitar and a person telling a story. It holds a merit all its own to me. And I'm like, wow, that's so cool. And I hope to eventually hone it to where I can do it really well. So it gives me something to strive for.
Yeah, it's more personable too. I feel like it's like when the sound is that naked, it's like it kind of reaches the listener at a more personal stage.
That's very well put. Yeah.
That's somebody quote that.
Yeah, quote that. That's a Davy Squires quote.
That's an original quote by David Velvet. So what have you been up to lately? This whole pandemic. I mean, I feel like this podcast, at least one or two of the questions is gonna be, what have you been up to during 2020, really? And since I last saw you, what have you been doing?
I have been writing. I've been recording over here at Area 67, the studio to go to. Thank you to Mike Vilgus, the man.
Shout out to Mike. There he is.
He's just looking at us like, what the hell?
What is happening here? Oh.
I've been writing and recording. I have one electric song that we recorded here called Last Straw. It is on Rock and Recovery on Summit Radio. They've been playing it on there, and I think they play it on the Loop also.
Oh yeah, I love them over there.
Yeah,
I love Brad.
They're great people. Brad Savage is awesome. Same with Garrett Hart. And doing that, and got a little bit heavier tune I'm working on. And I'm hoping to get that to a movie that is being filmed around here called Copley Road.
Okay, I think I heard about that. Yeah.
So the pandemic, it put so many projects just like at a freeze, at a standstill.
Yeah.
So when we're in this kind of business, entertainment business, it's feast or famine nonetheless.
It gives you more time to think. Oh, thank you, Mike. Oh, he's a pro.
He's a GoPro.
I know I've been facing the mic like sideways this whole time.
Well, Clyde was kind of being covered up by the mic.
Oh. I kind of want to be all cool leaning into the mic like this, like, hey.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
So has 2020 kind of changed your sound a little bit? You said you were writing a little bit more heavier. Is that instrumentation wise or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I actually broke out Telly, and I think I played the SG on a tune or two that I've been working on. So I'm recording some electric stuff, but I'm still writing a lot of the acoustic, John Prine, Todd Schneider type stuff, just not as good or witty as them.
Yeah.
Clyde is in
Well,
there.
No, you're pretty witty. I mean, you got a lot to work. You got a lot to work off of.
I do have a pretty good basis to pull from, you know.
Yeah.
I've been pretty fortunate that anything I've gone through, I've somewhat been able to look at it in a healthy manner for the most part, and then to create something out of it. So,
Yeah.
you know, that's somewhat growing as a songwriter and
Yeah.
a human being. So, yeah.
What are your favorite things to write about? Or do you have a favorite thing?
I found myself, especially this year with the pandemic, I've done a lot of riding. I get on my bike and I'd have all these ideas of cool song titles and cool this and that, and then come home and I jot little things down. But it always ended up going back to traveling, so I kind of pulled it back, and then I kind of spun it as in somebody else looking at the situation instead of me.
Yeah.
You know, and doing it in a third person, and just kind of changing it around a little bit, and sometimes even changing it from looking at the aspect of traveling to the aspect of the feeling that I'm getting, and pulling from that. So I've changed my attack on my writing a little bit.
Yeah. That's like a perspective kind of thing, just to change.
Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing what a change in perspective, in terms of songwriting and structure, can do. It if you tell a story in first person, it could be a whole lot different than if you told it in third person.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It depends on the topic. I don't know if it's the same for you, but it depends on the topic at hand whether you talk about it in first or third person. Does it depend for you? Or?
Yes. Yeah, it depends on the topic. It depends on how in depth I'm gonna go. There's some variables there that sometimes if it's gonna be short and simple, I will just do it in me.
Yeah.
You know, but if it's gonna be a little bit deeper, I want to put somebody they're sitting next to me watching this dude go through the motions of whatever he's going through and go through the whole gamut of what he's got going on.
Oh yeah.
Otherwise, it's just a day in the life of Clyde, you know.
It's like the Seinfeld of albums.
Yeah.
It's like the normal day of Clyde.
Wow, that could be that could be darn close to The Wall, you know? That could be a Seinfeld version of The Wall. I don't know if I'd want to do that. The Morning Constitution, track 1.
It's like an audiobook of just you saying things Jerry Seinfeld would say.
Yeah.
I did not expect that good of an impression from you.
Thank you. Oh,
wow.
I was playing last night down in Louisville for the Arts and Stark thing, and I was playing in front of the art gallery. I'm just going ahead. I'm doing Wagon Wheel. And there's some people set up in front of me, one of my bass students and his mom and dad came down, they're sitting over there. There's a bench over here, and I've got people starting to get in a heated argument over the presidency and politics. And I'm just going, well, there goes my tip jar tonight.
Is it out in front of you, or your little tip?
Yeah,
little,
it's out there. And these guys are right there, and they're getting as loud as me. And wow. And they calm down a little bit. The whole time I'm thinking to myself, man, that's not nice. can't they leave a performer be? You know? It's like,
What's the deal?
what's the deal with all these people?
You should have told. You should have told him that. You should have said that in Jerry Seinfeld
I
voice.
should have.
I feel like the arguments have just overshadowed people's opinions. It's more of just division now, and
It's complete division, and it's complete I'm right, you're wrong. They're not looking at the actual election or what the people are actually bringing to the plate. It is what it is, but
well, they gotta ask, how are the crowds?
for it being social distancing, they're social distanced. They're 6 feet apart. But for the most part, it's good crowds. Everybody's pretty positive. Like I said, now and then you get that one little thing going on, but and people seem really appreciative of the music. And when I get up there to play, I let them know I'm there to entertain them. I'm there to be positive. Leave your troubles wherever they were. You know, I'm just here to play you some music. I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's what I hope and pray to do, is just make somebody smile.
Yeah.
You know, make somebody happy and just forget their troubles for a little bit.
I'm sure every musician listening to this agrees with you. It's like it's not about politics. It's not about the issues. Right now is your time to play, and their time to listen, and everything else is just splashed out. Just
Yep.
canceled out.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like simplicity in my life. Simplicity has got me further in the last 10 years than any amount of money from whatever I had worked or was creatively financing and doing my thing. I got a roof over my head. I've got too many guitars, but
That's not a problem, though, is it?
No. But I got a roof over my head. Me and my wife have some pets. Crazy cat guy. She turned me into the crazy cat guy. We got vehicles. I got a motorcycle. I've got my endorsement back from my motorcycle, so I can ride through the falls and not get stopped and watch my bike go away on a tow truck. You know,
Yeah.
There goes my Harley. You know, I had that happen. You know, couple decades ago. So I try to find gratitude in all these simple things, and I try to keep things really simple, because the simpler they are, the less complicated they are. Because the minute you start complicating one thing, you're adding one more little problem. You're adding one more little situation pending that's going to end up being a problem.
Then it compounds, and
Yeah.
you're like, ah, wow, wow.
Yeah. Yep.
And then you turn into a blue alien.
Yes, a blue alien.
It's over there. Thanks, Mike, for the water, by the way.
Absolutely.
This water is brought to you by Mike. I don't know, Dasani's nice.
Yep.
What's your favorite type of water, Clyde?
Anything that doesn't come out of a toilet.
That's a good rule to live by.
Yeah.
So before we get to the songs, I gotta ask. I think I asked you this last time when we were on my previous show. Are there any tips you would give to any young musicians out there that are just starting?
Hold steady. Don't let anyone tell you not to do it, because usually you will run into somebody who is jaded. And they're going to tell you, oh man, it sucks, you'll never do it, yada da da da, man, it ain't worth it. You know, I kind of bought into that growing up, and my parents actually, my mom was like, why don't you just get a job, marry, get a nice car and a house? And it was like, that's life.
Yeah.
Wow, that sounds boring. So, and it just wasn't in me.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're at that point where you're thinking about it, you better do it. Because to me, and I tell this to anyone, if somebody's telling you all the bad before they're giving you an ounce of good,
Yeah.
they're a pretty jaded something or something.
Yeah.
You know, they're not happy with themselves, so they've failed at whatever they've done more than likely, and they just don't want to see somebody else succeed.
Yeah.
A truly good musician is happy for a successful musician. They're going to sit there and go, man, I can't believe he's doing this and that, and here I am. No, that's not a musician, you know. And then the other thing would be always be hungry to learn. Never have a closed mind, because the minute you close your mind, you put yourself in this little box, and there's only so much you're going to be able to work with. And you may not use it that one day, but man, 10, 15 years down the road, you'll be like, wow, you'll have that eureka moment, and you'll go, wow, I remember learning that a long time ago. That would fit perfectly in what I'm doing on this bridge. And you know, it's another tool in your toolbox, basically. But I don't want to be that guy if I make it to 75, sitting on a porch going, hey kids, get off my lawn. Get off my lawn.
I just got it fertilized.
Yeah. You know, I don't want to be that guy, because that's a guy who will sit there at a sunset and go, yeah, you know, one day I could have probably played a nice song. I could have done something nice. I could have played music. I could have done that for a living. I don't like that coulda, man.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Yeah, that ain't in me. I didn't turn my whole life around to sit on my ass and go, man, yeah, I'm gonna make my car payment this week, and I might have some overtime. No, I'm out there. I'm trying to create. I'm trying to be positive and just help somebody out along the way, man. That's at the end of the day, that's all we can do, is be a better human, show some kindness, and show some love.
Yeah.
You know? Hi everybody. This song is called "The Badder I Am." It is about a previous drinking history. Kind of self-explanatory. It goes like this. The badder I am, the better it gets. The legend in my own mind at a hot damn mess. And I can't remember, think I'll forget. The badder I am, the better it gets. Down at the racetrack, a 5 to my name. Betting on a 10-1 and then my luck changed. We placed a show, I made out like a thief. Hell of a night of drunken memories. Well, the badder I am, the better it gets. Letting in my own mind and a hot damn mess. I can't remember, think I'll forget. The badder I am, the better it gets. Woke up in the county jail, missing my boots. Jailer man laughed and he cut me loose. Son, you won't remember, so you won't regret. The badder you are, the deeper it gets. Well, the badder I am, the better it gets. Legend in my own mind and a hot damn mess. I can't remember, think I'll forget. The badder I am, the better it gets. Keep on talking now, say what you will. These are some wild-ass boots to fill. Well, the badder I am, the better it gets. Legend in my own mind and a hot damn mess. And I can't remember, think I'll forget. The badder I am, the better it gets. Badder I am, the better it gets.
Jerry Seinfeld loves the podcast we got.
Oh, count me in too, Bobby.
Man, that was a fun interview with Clyde. You can check him out on Facebook. Just search Clyde Allen Hensley Fan Site. That's his Facebook page for his music. You can also check me out on Facebook, Davey Squires Music, and you can also check me out on Instagram at Davey_Squires. And you can log on to dsquires.com to check out all the past episodes of the Squires Station, as well as my original music. Thank you guys for listening today, and I will see you on the next podcast. Peace.